Alright, so for this next part, we're going to do just a little detailing to clean up these edges a little bit. So I'm going to go to my sculpting tool. And with the sculpting tool, there's a lot of little things I could use, stamps and stencils, and I could change the preset of the fall off. This one, the third one right here, or excuse me, well, it says number 2 because it starts at 0. But this one is the default right here. So if I click on this one, it changes to the default. But I'm going to choose, you'll notice all these little images which actually give me little options. But there's one over here, like these gray ones. And if I put my cursor, one's called, if you look at it, pinch. One is called V-edge. One is called fold. I'm going to choose the second one called V-edge. And what this guy does, and you're not going to see it if I draw, it's like, wait, it did nothing. And the reason being is because I make sure I'm on my sculpting tool when I do this, that I have to really crank this thing way up for it to actually, whoa, that may be too high. Hello, yeah, a little bit too high. There we go. See that? So this is another way I could actually go, look at this, as I drag along that, and you could see that it starts to define that little edge there. Now, the interesting thing with this one is as I go across it, you'll have to find, depending on your scale and all that stuff, what's the right, amount. This may be too high for some of you, some may be too low. And you can always just type in, like, let's try 15. And if I go in, that's better. Just so I can clean up some of these edges. Now if I go the opposite way, it's going to get rid of it. Because the way this works is it creates an edge going one way and an opposite edge going the other way. So I'm going to go from left to right on this. That's much better. And I could even have some layers of that frosting on top. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then as I do that, I'm just adding in these little details and putting in what I want. And then I'll do the same for the interior, right? Where I could just kind of go, I could even just kind of accentuate where some of those things are. The inside is done pretty well, so I'm not going to worry too much, and you won't see it that much. But if I want it to be tighter, I tighten up that brush. If I want it to be bigger, then I'll make the brush larger. See? Now we've got some really cool kind of stuff going on here. See? Look at all that frosting. So that's just using a couple of these tools to detail it. Depending on how dense this model is, and depending on your computer, because the more high of a subdivision level, I'm at 4 right now. And if I go to this layer, which has that initial details on it, see, I can turn it off and on. I can't paint on it unless I go down to level 3, and now I'm on level 4. So I'd have to actually go here, press the page down button on my keyboard, and now you'll notice I can paint on this one, which is that original detailed sculpt. And then I go up and I want to go to the high level, I'll page up. Now I can go to this one, but I can work off of that. And now that I've got these little details, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that looks pretty good. On your machine, if your machine starts chugging a lot, you don't want to go nuts with these. Some of these, like if your machine is really chugging, you may not want to go past a certain level. If I page up, or page down and page up, you'll see it tells me what resolution. So it's at 102,000 polygons. When I work on a character, at times I can go up to like 5 or 6 million or 8 million polygons. So this one on that level is pretty low. Now, would I want to have a 100,000 polygon donut in a game level? No. But if it was a movie, I would crank it up even higher. But we're going to keep it kind of low because I don't know what machine you have. But you could see how you can easily start to really add some nice details and fine-tune some things. Just like that. Now, once I have that down, and say like, okay, I like that. That's looking pretty good. Go along that edge. Get rid of those little weird lines. And now I'm ready to actually go in to the next phase.